guys, this is Lord Chael speaking on behalf of our show sponsor, Established Titles. Established Titles is a project based on a Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lords and ladies. They allow you to buy as little as 1 square foot of dedicated land so you can officially call yourself a lord or a lady. Established Titles is not just about your ego. You also get to do some good. In addition to your new fancy title, Established Title supports global charities like One Tree Planet and Trees for the Future to help with the afforestation effort. Your title pack gets you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land in a private estate in Scotland. Your certificate features a unique plot number where you can see the exact location of your land. And right now, Established Titles is holding 200 plots of land right next to mine. So come join me in the Bad Guy Inc. Kingdom. Getting this certificate even allows you to officially change your name to Lord or Lady. Put it on your credit card, put it on your plane tickets, or if you're so inclined, put it on your dating profile. Makes for a great last-minute gift, and there's even couples packs that come with adjoining plots of land. Established Titles is having a great limited-time sale. Go to establishedtitles.com/Chael to save 10% off today. Remember to use the promo code Chael, or just click on the link below. Dustin Poirier, guys, I mean, what drives him? What do you think does? Because I don't think he wants the belt. Now, I say that because I know he wants to win. I don't think he wants the belt. I think that Poirier wants to and do big fights. And by the way, I think he qualifies. I do. I think he's one of those rare attractions. I think he was perhaps there prior to Saturday. I think after Saturday, he now qualifies, and he's saying himself, remember when he was talking about 170? That was greatly misinterpreted. When Dustin Poirier was talking about 170 pounds, he was not talking about leaving 155. Well, Chael, how do those go together? Well, hold on, hear me out. He was telling you guys, get back to me. Tell me the fight you want to see me in, and let me make it easy on you. Add another weight class. That was what he was trying to deliver, I believe. Now, I say he didn't want the belt. He fought like a guy that wanted the belt. He fought like a guy where nothing else mattered. He fought like a guy that doesn't have money for food and rent if he doesn't win that fight. That's hard to fight like that. It's hard. It's hard to dig that deep. It's hard to be that rough and tumble. It's hard to take those shots and come back. And you can do it a few times in your career. And when I say a few, it's actually an unknown number, but it's not many. You can go out and have that one war. You go out there and have those 3 wars. Dustin Poirier versus Dan Hooker is as good a fight as you're going to see. It's as good and hard and bludgeoning of a fight as they've ever done in mixed martial arts. Poirier, Eddie Alvarez, same statement. Poirier, Justin Gaethje, same statement. Poirier, Michael, I mean, how many of them do you got? And I don't know the answer to that. He is nowhere near done. He is getting better. What I'm speaking to is how. Because it's not where the trainer comes in, right? You're going to build the guy up. It's not where your gym comes in. You're going to build them up. Dustin's skills, quite frankly, have not changed in years. Many, many years. Dustin's skills are not much different. They are different if you want to be fine line. They're not much different than the first night he fought Conor McGregor. They're not. He does the same stuff. Got bigger, he changed weight classes, he got more mature. It's his mind that's different. You're not going to be able to go back and look early in Dustin's career leading up to that Conor fight, if we're just going to use that as an example and fine point it here, and show me more than 2 techniques post Conor McGregor 1 that he's ever done that he didn't do prior. It's mental. What drives a guy like that? I'm truly curious. I had good drive. I had good motivation. So I think I can understand it to some degree. But I also knew what I wanted. I wanted to be the champion of the world. I only insert myself because it's all I can do. It's the same thing that you guys do when I ask you this question. All you can do is put yourself in his shot. He's already champion of the world. That will never change. When he wakes up in the morning and he looks at the mantle, there's a 12-pound gold belt that used to be around his waist. Mega massive fights. Plenty of money. So what drives him if it's not the world championship? Because you can't beat a guy like Chandler the way that you had to come back and beat him. Cannot happen unless you have a deep drive. Poirier was suggested by Khabib, but that Poirier fight Benny Dariush, that he come out to Perth and do that. Now, Khabib didn't finish that thought. He thought he had a great fight, and he does. To finish that thought, as Khabib thought you were the two best guys, Islam's on top of the bill. If anything should happen to Volkanovski, we'll have two guys that are ready, willing, and able. Okay. Well, let's look at that. Should Dustin do it? No. No. And I am never the guy that's against a fight for any reason. I don't think my way out of him. You're a competitor. You go out there and do it. The fight in Perth isn't that far away. I thought it was March, and somebody told me earlier today that it's February, but you understand my point. It's not that far away. So Dustin's going to need to recover from that fight. The one that he just had, you recover 2 weeks, nothing much, but he's going to need to recover. But then once you're recovered, you have to re-find it. You might as well have taken off 2 months. When you're into that drive and that grind, you're mentally used to it, right? All habits. You hear the word habit, you think that they're always bad. No, there's good habits too. Good eating habits, good sleep habits, good training habits. And if you get away from that for 2 weeks, you're step one. It's step one. It'll take you a couple of weeks to get back in the groove. I only share that because that is right around the corner, but let's look a little bit closer at it. What would he get for it? He's a main event guy. That's not a main event. It's Perth. I mean, nobody seems to be talking about that. Do you guys not know what, I mean, right. Okay. But hold on. So let's just look at Benny specifically. Now, my understanding was that Benny is going to fight Charles. I thought I had inside scoop on that. I mean, I thought that was done. I thought he was fighting Charles. I don't know that we've ever discussed it, but this is what I thought. Now, Benny's not the one that came up with the bright idea of fighting Poirier. It was Khabib. But let's just say I'm wrong and the Charles thing isn't going to happen. Or I was right and it's falling apart. Let's just say that Benny becomes available. Benny should be fighting for the belt. We all agree, right? Benny can't fight for the belt. Nobody's won more fights than Benny. Nobody's looked better. Nobody deserves it more. Well, now there is a guy, Volkanovski, but he's not in the weight class. So no, Benny's the guy. All of a sudden, Volk's in the weight class, right? Okay, nobody's done better than Benny. Nobody's impressed us more. Nobody's won more. Oh, well, this guy did, and now he came here. So it's a really weird time. So if Benny's going to go do something, you got to really understand this, okay? There's some moving parts here. If Benny does nothing, if he doesn't fight anybody at all, Dana could do this where he just puts on that fight. Maybe Benny's a backup fighter. Maybe Benny does nothing. Benny would then fight for the championship. Benny would go fight for the world title. If Benny does a fight between now and then, just because the dates don't match up and he's a pride fighter and he wants to be busy, if Benny wins there, he then goes and fights for the championship. Can we agree? Okay. If that's true, and we believe it is, why would Dustin go fight him? Because let me give you a different scenario. Dustin doesn't fight him. Benny goes and fights for the championship and wins. Dustin comes in and fights him, except now it's a championship fight. Benny goes and fights for the championship and loses. Now Dustin has surpassed him, never has to deal with him at all. I mean, that one's a pretty simple strategy. Now, that doesn't mean I think people are going to hear that fight. I think they're going to like Khabib's suggestion. I understand that it has legs, you go through with it. I'm just sharing for you. If you're in Dustin's spot, where that's kind of a quick turnaround, there's no egg on your face. You're not going to upset anybody. Dana's not going to expect you to say, not at all. But it might be off. Hey, do you want to do this? You start looking at the holiday and a little recovery time, and it's in Perth, which is Perth. I mean, you could see where he would pass over that. Now, if you just want to do it because it's an opportunity, right? This is once in a lifetime opportunity. I want a title fight. I got to go through this guy. They're giving me an opportunity. It's 3. Like, there's a time and a place for that, and I love that. I love that. Subscribe to it almost every time. But this is a situation where, sure, I'll fight Benny. Let him go have the world title fight. If he wins, I'll come fight Benny. If he doesn't win, he goes under me. I don't ever have to deal with him. He's going to try to find me on his way back up. There is no way back up when you're at that age. I'll never have to deal with him. When you have those really hard fights, if there's a way to maneuver around it, maneuver around it. And it brings Dustin so much more in the forefront. Because, guys, the one thing that we're not talking about as it pertains to Poirier is McGregor. Somewhere that one has lost sight a little bit. And I think now that Dustin's in everybody's mind, expectations of Conor to return to the testing pool, at least for discussions, I believe it lives. I believe it comes back. So, I've asked you this many times, but I really do want you, Ray. I just want to know what you want next for Dustin. Because that's what he wants. He's been very nice. He's been very polite. Right? Dustin is very engaging with the audience. But I do feel that there's times that the audience doesn't understand what he's asking. Dustin didn't call anybody out, and he understands the titles around the corner. He understands these kinds of things, but he was also non-committal. He has let you know it's 2 different weight classes. We see he's got the eye of the tiger. We see he's got the drive. He wants a big fight. But you guys decided, what's a big fight? What's the one that you want him in? For reasons that I still don't know, he got a crop his ass that Michael Chandler did not call him out. I mean, this is really the first fight that Poirier has gone after hard. You could back the tape up and see where he had done that with Diaz, but Diaz is now doing something else. What do you want Dustin to do? Straight question. 2 weight classes. What do you want to see Dustin do?